the next topic I wanted to mention was how long a member of Congress can actually serve in Congress. Now, right now they can serve for life, as you know. I think that in the future that should be limited to maybe 2 terms.
That's a great idea, and they also get their salary for life. We should put them on. I mean, okay, they serve 2 terms. They get the same retirement that the normal American people do. They want to go on Social Security, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Why give them their full salary for the rest of their life?
Plus the health care that they receive for life.
Right.
They passed this new health care bill that, as we know, we discussed that earlier.
Yeah.
And they get this premium enhanced,
wonderful,
expensive, wonderful version of that. And I mean, why shouldn't we get the same stuff that they do? Why do we have to get the lesser version of?
Stephen, I couldn't agree more. We've got professional politicians, and then, as we talked about before, power corrupts. Power corrupts absolutely. If we limit the terms,
if we limit the terms, not only are we gonna maybe root out some of the corrupt people, because as usually it takes a little bit of time for them to become corrupt. If they come in there corrupt already, obviously they're gonna be corrupt, but if it takes a lot of time to be corrupt, so by the time they sort of reach that fully sort of corrupt thing, if it over a course of a few years, they'll only have a couple more years to go, and then they'll be gone.
Right.
And if they come in corrupt, they'll only be there for a couple of years, and then we'll root them out after a certain amount of time, so they're not putting their influence over the rest of their lifetime.
Right. And how about voting themselves raises every year? I think their raises should be the same raises that they give to Social Security. The cost of living increase. That's it. Nothing more.
Yep. I mean,
if you can vote yourself a raise in a job, how many times can you vote yourself a raise? I mean, Congress does it all the time. Yeah. They just cut the cost of living increase for Social Security for 3 years, yet they voted themselves another raise.
Mm-hmm. And they say that
Talk about hypocrisy.
They say that they can. This raise is optional, but let's be real. Who's not going to take a pay raise?
No,
in today's world.
Yeah. Who hasn't?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So, next point I want to make is the whole thing of cabinet members, and as we know, Obama was creating these new positions for people that he wanted to put in. I mean, they have to go through the
where he bypassed Congress approving them.
Yes,
because he created the new positions. The positions didn't have that already written in that they had to be approved by Congress, so he could just put in whoever he wanted.
Where's the
Constitution in that?
Yeah, where's the Constitution in that? Where's the democracy in that? Where's the transparency in that?
There isn't.
Exactly.
You're absolutely right, Stephen. That should be done away with. There's a lot of things that I feel he should have been hung for as far as treason goes, but that goes beyond the point. I mean, his 2 predecessors ago, Clinton should have been hung for treason as well for some of the things that he did. But the Constitution means nothing to these men.
Right.
Period.
Right. And it's been seen time and time again that they break it. There's no repercussions. So if there's no repercussions, I mean, what's stopping them?
What happened to the checks and balances of the Constitution?
Exactly.
They're not working.
Not there. Yep. Well, they're there, but they're being overlooked. They're not even being taken into account.
I think they're being trampled on more than overlooked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the last point, leading from that into the next point, is transparency. Or as Obama has sort of made it invisibility, but really keep it transparency.
So what would you like to see more of?
We know nothing about the man. Or we know very little about the man. We should know everything about our president if we're going to put him into power. We should know all his past, his schooling, his political history, his job history. Like if he had managed or been president of companies or whatever, his experience there. Because as we know, Obama, from the little that we know about him, he has very little experience running companies. There's very little experience in the Political, exactly. He's 143 days.
143 days in as a congressman. Yeah.
Plus, he said he wasn't ready for it. Boom, 143 days later, he's
well, he said that actually when he was a state senator from the state of Illinois, and he said he couldn't see it taking it to the federal level because he wouldn't feel comfortable because he wasn't experienced enough. And then 143 days into his federal senator, all of a sudden he's running for president. Yeah, out of this side of the mouth. And talking about both sides of his mouth. You're absolutely right, Stephen. It's sad the way our government has gone, but I think we're in the death throes of a democracy. I spoke with your father at great length about it the other night, and he doesn't believe that we're we're in the death throes of a democracy. We're the longest running democracy in history, one of the youngest nations in the world, and we're at those stages where people are voting themselves free gifts from the Treasury. I can't see it lasting too much longer. I don't know how much longer. You know, who knows? God knows.
Unless there's a lot of change. I mean, if there's a
Right.
lot of huge.
Well,
amount of change,
that's going
then
to
I
take
think
this whole country to wake up, to quit voting ignorantly, to educating themselves on what their congressmen, their senators are doing for them, and what they're actually doing for their own agenda or the agenda of the people that are putting the money behind their campaigns. Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
If you were president of the United States right now,
If I was president of the United States, I think
Yes.
this is going to be good.
global and local changes, what would you do?
Okay, so.
I'm putting you on the spot because I didn't tell you to prepare for this.
Okay.
But I just like to hear what you have to say.
Okay. For one, we're sending a lot of foreign aid, billions of dollars of foreign aid, when we are itself are in, what, $17 trillion in debt right now?
Right.
And, what was it, China's back in Pakistan right now, and they say that if we interfere in Pakistan, which we are, they're gonna consider it a threat against the mainland of China.
An act of war against
an act of war against the mainland of China, and that's gonna be, if we get in war with China, oof, that's gonna be a big deal.
So, did you ever hear the Robin Williams peace plan?
No.
It went around as a joke, but I think he said it in one of his performances. It was, and I don't remember totally, but it's something like we pull every single. First of all, we apologize to every country for every meddling in them. France, Germany, Italy, all those countries that we helped. We apologize for meddling in their affairs. We should have left them to their own demise. Then we pull every single troop from all the other countries who got them in. We station them at our borders. Nobody else gets in or out. I mean, nobody else gets in. You know what I mean? I mean, if you're not supposed to be here, you're out. If you're over 21, you're here on a visa, and your visa's over, you're out because you're probably a terrorist. You're not a student. You know what I mean? If you're here on a student visa, you're over 21 years old, you're not in school, out. Immediately ejected from the country. All the money that we send out of the countries, we keep here in the United States. We put it to our people. Is if you're in another country and you suffer a loss of crops, whatever that year, pray to Allah, whatever God you pray to for more crops, because they're not coming from the United States. We start taking care of us and our own.
Right.
Period. To take that further, I mean, we stop importing goods from other countries and we start making people here create those goods better and cheaper.
Again, we got oil.
Yeah.
We don't need to import oil.
I know.
But we do.
We can create everything that we import from other countries. We can create right here in the United States. Yet we import it because it's cheaper.
Yep.
Start making it cheaper here in the United States to actually manufacture goods. Drop the taxes on the less federal government, so we don't need as much money to run the federal government. We can drop the taxes. We can make it actually advantageous for the businesses to run here in the United States, and boom, we got it.
And one of the things is you mentioned the it's more expensive to make it here.
Yeah.
If we started to make it here, once supply gets going, once we have a lot more supply, the price is going to go down for it. The whole issue of supply and demand. It's cheaper because they have it, and we don't.
I know.
If we had it, it'd be.
We weren't allowed to bring it.
Yeah.
That's the thing with China. They place tariffs on everything that we send to China. They place tariffs. Those same tariffs are not placed on Chinese goods coming in the United States. It's an unfair trade agreement that we worked out.
Right.
They can charge high tariffs so that when we try and bring something into China, it's not worth it for them to bring it in because they have to pay such high tariffs. But yet we bring in stuff from China without the tariffs.
Right.
Does that make sense to you?
So we're losing money in that regard.
That was thank you to Bill Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
At any rate, we're going to tie this up. The question for next week, for you viewers, is going to be, what is the oldest wet ship in commission, still in commission, in the United States Navy?
Oh, I know this one.
I know you don't.
I'm not going to say it.
Previous people cannot answer this. Again, if you're associated with Proclamation Nation, you can't answer it. And it's wet means that it's still in the water and can still go out to sea, seaworthy, and it is commissioned still in the United States Navy. And I'll give you a little hint. It sits right about 30, 45 miles from here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where I am right now. At any rate, this week we wanted to take a look and see what our next generation is thinking about as far as our country goes, what their concerns are, and we got a little idea here from Stephen. And he's looking at colleges right now all around the area. And what major were you thinking about going into again?
International relations.
International relations. So I think it was a pretty good idea to stop here and visit with the winner of last week's or 2 weeks ago's question of the episode. And Stephen, thank you very much for meeting with us.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you folks in 2 weeks. Until then, take care.